Greetings, Ranger fans. Jake here, ready for another installment of Database Rangers Power Reviews, where I look at classic episodes of Database Rangers Power Reviews and provide my creator commentary. I hope everyone's having a great evening tonight. Good evening, Jenny. We're just getting things ready, getting things started, looking over comments from last week. I see that Hayden Reviews was asking if I'd seen any Reiwa era Kamen Rider, and yes, I have. I've seen all of 01, and I've been keeping up on Kamen Rider Saber. I actually just watched some Kamen Rider Saber earlier today to get myself caught up. Loving the aesthetics on that one. So I see people are still rolling in. As far as for this week, this is going to be. I'm glad that this week has been a little quieter than last week. Obviously, last week was very intense for a lot of people out there. And although we're still obviously getting news from the world at large about what's going on, it definitely was a week of settling back into life a little bit after all the work going into the special elections. And congratulations on guesting on that podcast, Scott. That's cool. Oh yes, but poor Izu in 01. Izu is absolutely pure and wonderful, and basically the best part of that show. But I have been enjoying Saber. I think I really like the book gimmick. I don't know why. I love the book gimmick. And I've seen the news out about Zenkaiger. I know Zenkaiger rolled out its trailer earlier today, looking interesting. Still very surreal, the approach they're going for, and so I haven't completely decided how I feel about it. Or if I will be, if I'll be keeping up with it, because I haven't been keeping up with Kira Major. I just haven't figured out how I want to keep up with Sentai right now, since we've sort of stopped doing the live reactions. But you will be happy to know that I do have things in the works with regards to what I'll be doing for Dino Fury. I'm still ironing out the wrinkles, so I don't want to announce anything yet. But I do have something in mind for Dino Fury, and it's looking to be a collaborative experience, which I am excited for, because I think that'll work a little bit better as far as getting the channel out there and turning around material a little bit more quickly when it comes to reviewing new episodes. I won't be doing the huge deep dives that the live reactions were, where those were an hour long, but I am looking at doing something for Dino Fury, which should be great. Gravity Falls is such a great show. I love Gravity Falls. I've introduced Marissa to most of it, but MJ and I haven't. MJ hasn't been able to bring themselves to watch the finale yet. It's a delightful series. I really like their season structure. I really think Power Rangers has a lot to learn from Gravity Falls. So, I'm not looking at doing live reactions for Dino Fury at this time. Honestly, RJ is still just so young, and we want to we want to give them appropriate attention and not be like distracted for the hour it usually takes to do a live reaction. And I think something that's shorter and scripted might be more appropriate moving forward. So I'm hoping to have announcements soon, as I sort of just hammer out the details and determine exactly what it is I want to be doing for Dino Fury. Alright, so it looks like we've got a good group already assembled. Welcome, Chris. So I think it's about time to dive into this next episode of Power Reviews, but before we do, let us not forget our 3 non-controversial phrases, the 3 phrases we should all be able to agree are equally non-controversial. So, everyone in the chat, say it with me. Black lives matter. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. And, oh, I accidentally hit the input button on the remote when I was putting the sign back down. I don't need a menu right now. There we go. What I need is some Database Rangers Power Reviews. Specifically, the 9th episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews. The review of Power Rangers Super Samurai, Episode 1, Super Samurai. Ready? And let's go.
Previously on Power Review, Database Ranger.
Welcome, Chris and Devious.
Review of the Power Rangers
Samurai.
Power Rangers Samurai.
Back when I still had the announcer actually describing things.
But one question still eats at his mind.
This is very much me trying to emphasize what the plot progression has been to this point. There's not like, a million clips yet, so I was still sort of summarizing.
Few things wake me up better than a new season of Power Rangers. Well,
and
sort of a new season.
I do enjoy how Database is just in complete denial about everything that happened with Dr. K at the end of the last episode.
Which means that this season we'll be tackling the second half. And for the first time since my orphan, we'll be kicking off a new season with a pre-established.
This was so weird the first time round, because we had no idea this was going to become a regular thing.
Doctor?
So I take it we're just going to ignore the events of last week.
Yep.
Just going to pretend nothing ever happened.
Oh, congratulations.
You got it.
Think I'll just add an
Sorry, I think I got your message earlier today and I forgot to reply. I'm glad that they got the truck back.
Moving on. Now, I obviously have my issues with Power Rangers Samurai, so I do have my trepidations about what the second season means.
This was something that I decided early on was important for Database Ranger's character. He needed to have a very firm sense of denial about the weirdness of his life. Just as a plot mechanic, it was necessary in order for him to be living his life without being in a perpetual existential crisis over his past. And it says a lot about what his state of mind is, that he doesn't want to really dig into the weirdness of his life. He wants to focus just on Power Rangers. That is what he enjoys. That is his life. Yes, and the opening sequence commentary. Oh, the Mouseketeers. I also don't know why the rapping.
Of the Super Samurai uniforms and upcoming Zord combo. Oh, opening theme, I can't be angry with you. Go Power Rangers.
And
Rangers together.
It's so.
Samurai forever.
It was so novel then, the idea of having Go Power Rangers back in the theme.
Not only has Jaden recovered from his battle with Decker, but he's also taken time
Oh, okay. So they found the guys. Good job. I'm hoping that someone can help identify the missing items.
It's a sign that the Nylok are getting stronger, and that things still haven't improved since the Tengen game. To make matters worse,
This was sort of a nice, hey, here's who what the cast is up to, and
what's his name again? I'm sorry.
I still can't believe that this was how they chose to handle this story. The fact that they just chose to ignore. Yeah. Exactly.
Disappeared at the end of Box In and hasn't been mentioned since. What's he been up to?
He's running around like a
Oh.
animal.
Well, at least he's keeping busy.
Well, Chris, I'm glad I gave you a reason to get a new iPad. Hopefully, it wasn't outside of your price range.
The Rangers continue to follow Ragnar's footprints, realizing why they hadn't received the gap sensor.
I still can't believe that Power Rangers is not going to be on Netflix next month. That's so crazy to me. I mean, the newest seasons, yes, and Mighty Morphin, yes, but like Netflix has been such a resource to me for these last 8 years, and it's crazy that it's not going to be that Power Rangers isn't going to that classic Power Rangers that's not MPR isn't going to be on Netflix anymore, and that's just insane.
Why did Antonio stop working on it to go fishing? And why does it look completely different now? What is going on?
Would you like my diagnosis?
No, that's fine. Let's move on. So, Arachnator continues terrorizing while the Rangers track him through the woods.
I really kind of played around with how much I wanted Kay to understand about the situation that she was in. As we've established, she does not know how she ended up in that apartment either. But she was far more self-aware of the situation and trying to sort of hash it out in different ways.
Quickly disabling the Rangers and then escaping to wreak more havoc. Much to me is surprise. Don't you remember? He mutated. No, Mike. She doesn't remember. No one does. They haven't been watching the show. Even G has forgotten the premise that was established.
This is such a... So much of this... of Samurai was so strange in terms of how it was handled. I am very much looking forward to see what news comes about the whole Jonathan Entwistle universe. I do like this little this little subplot here where they block the morphs.
Kevin spots the seals and he and Jaden quickly move to eliminate them, while the rest of the team engage in a literal game of the floor is lava. Meanwhile,
yes, the floor is lava.
Working hard to get the black box operational. He, oh come on, like closing your eyes is really going to make a difference. Really?
They stretched out the black box so long, and it's exhausting.
Arachnator's tenacious tendrils are still too much for them, though, and the team is once again.
Also, I still do not fully understand why a spider-based creature has, like, tentacles and a bullnose.
I guess Antonio has finally learned to speak snarl after Boxed In. Sorry, I don't speak snarl. Jaden takes on the Moogers with some spiffy new blur attacks.
But yeah, that's such a weird thing to just sort of leave to leave off on for so many episodes. But I do recognize they were trying to draw it out specifically to sort of shove it over into those two 20-episode chunks.
The Rangers decide to take the black box to the next level and pull off their new super.
Like there were a lot of things in Samurai that have since become normal to Power Rangers, but at the time was so strange and new. The idea of a Megazord, of a special Megazord armor mode, the whole split season approach. And also, it was definitely a step down in terms of originality compared to the previous season.
So they combine the Octozord with the Beetle, Tiger, and Swordfish swords to form the Super Samurai Artillery.
That's one big cannon.
Yeah, but what does it do? What do you think it does? It's a cannon. It makes sushi.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. It makes sushi. Actually, what it really does is...
Wow, my frustration is really coming out in Samurai.
Maybe running around trying to film these Samurai Ranger fights isn't such a good idea. I bet Bulk is wishing he didn't spend his last penny on that camera. Personally, I would have just tried borrowing one from my neighbor. Thanks a lot. My friend will really appreciate it.
And there's the
I thought
plot
you
point.
said it was your cousin.
Yeah, my friend and my cousin are the ones getting married.
I thought you said she was having a baby.
I love that Database is such a bad
actually,
liar.
They're having the wedding at the hospital, so I should really get going. Good thing he didn't have any more follow-up questions. Anywho, let's finish up the episode.
And that is...
Apparently the key to sealing away the Sandu
It's
River
insane how much of a significant plot point that moment ended up being.
Don't worry, it's not like there are gaps between them.
Because, you know, it seems like just a throwaway gag, but it is canonically how Database ended up with a camera to be able to do the show, which leads into so many other plot developments across the course of the series.
Right? And that's the end of our episode. So, what did I think of it? Well, I had mixed feelings.
And there's a lot of little things throughout these early episodes where it establishes something that seems like a throwaway gag, but is actually establishing character relationships for the entirety of the rest of the series. But yeah, that's our sort of, you know, proto origin story of the Squee.
That's not the only place where I feel the saga of the Black Box fell flat. The passing visual mention of it in the Ultimate Duel just served to drive home how much
Ooh,
an afterthought
California roll with a side of
was.
shrimp
A sentiment
tempura.
that this episode only reinforces.
What,
This
no
could have
sashimi in
easily
there?
been offset if Antonio had simply received the Black Box at the end of Box Hit instead of at the beginning.
Yeah.
He still would have spent time working on it off screen during Broken Dreams, but may not have
It
figured out
really-
how to hack it until
It really does just
by
demonstrate
delaying
how
that part of the story until then,
they
it would
really
not
rushed a
have given
lot
it
of
something productive,
things with this
but
season.
also given
The
them a
development
character
for
that
the development
that
cycle for Samurai
it
was
really
virtually
is. This
non-existent.
5-episode introduction arc is so
Like,
self-defeating.
it was released
I
within
feel
like
like
6
the
months of being
another
announced. It
5-episode
was
introduction arc that was
crazy.
considerably more successful, done by a much less experienced production team. Also about
Although I'm
50%
probably
different.
exaggerating a little bit when I say 6 months.
Overall, though, despite all these issues, Super Samurai does seem to
And at this point, I've managed to fix my issues with the aspect ratio. I've managed to fix my encoding issues. My white balance still is horrible and will remain horrible. Unfortunately. I do eventually get better at it, but man, these early episodes, the yellow of the room really gets emphasized.
Oh, and speaking of repetitive,
Oh my goodness. I forgot
I think we got
how
that.
many times he said super in that last 5 minutes of the episode.
Extra super with a big celebration to kick off the new season.
Like,
Sadly, the income of fledgling internet reviewer isn't quite what it should be.
oh.
Come to think of it, what has our total revenue been?
107.
$107?
$1.07.
And I'm fairly certain that was our revenue at that point. Which, I mean, we haven't gotten much better than that. We make like, you know, maybe like $10 a month or something like that. But it's still like,
Farewell, Ranger fans, and
YouTube money is not a thing. And it was good seeing the second appearance of Guy. Whoop. Nope, don't want to queue up the next one yet. Got to save something for next week. But yeah, I tried to do my best to introduce every plot point as innocuously as possible during these early episodes, so that by the time the plot fully kicks in, it still feels like a natural evolution of the series, and you have a good familiarity with the characters, but it's still a surprise. And that's really what I tried to cultivate in those early episodes. Sort of lulling the audience into a false sense of security while laying the groundwork for the plot that would be coming. And I was still figuring out a good chunk of it. At this stage, when I was working on episode 9, I don't think that I had fully come up with the idea for year 3 yet. But by the end of year 0, I knew how year 3 was going to end. In broad strokes. Obviously, there's still tons of details that emerged over time. A lot of year two was completely reworked from my original concepts. Um, I'm not even sure if it's $10. Like, I would need to double check the revenue, but it is low. And it's like per month maybe. Actually, I don't even know what. Uh, a little bit less than $10 per month. That's where, in case you were wondering how YouTube ad revenue is, it's like a tip jar if you only like got tipped once a month. Make a little bit more through Patreon, but this is not my primary income, obviously. As I've established, I'm a professional teacher at the high school level for math and science. That it has become my career over the course of these last 5 years or so. Note, at the time that I was doing power reviews, that I was starting power reviews, obviously I'm still doing power reviews, but at the time that I first started power reviews, um, I was I had next to nothing going on. I was selling knives for a living. That is actually what my job was when I started power reviews. And I was looking to get out of it. Not because it was not because I was bad at it or anything. I was actually quite good, but I realized after going to all of those like motivational conferences that they made you go to that made you think about what you wanted out of your life, that I wanted more out of my life than selling knives or, you know, managing an office where people sold knives. Um, and so that was around the time I decided to start doing power reviews to have a creative outlet that about something I was very passionate about. And I started temping. I finally got a 9 to 5 temp job. Um, where and I think this was around the time I started working at I was doing data entry at State Farm by this point. Um, so I was literally Jake from State Farm wearing khakis to work every day. That was my that was my literal actual life around this point in the series. Um, like technically speaking, if any of my friends wanted to buy knives from me, they still could. I still have my account. It's still active, 8 or 9, 10 years later, however long it's been now. Um, but uh, but yeah, I was good at it. I got some awards. I have a whole bunch of free knives that I earned during that time. Um, but it wasn't making me happy, and I felt as though I wasn't. I get a lot of times when you're in sales, they're always sort of motivating you. Hey, make that money so you can live your best life, kind of thing. If you get all these sales, you'll get to live your dreams. And my dreams um, didn't really come down to things about money. It was really about having a satisfying career, and I wasn't getting that. Um, and what I wanted, what I do still want, is to work on Power Rangers someday. Um, I tried for a long time to break into animation. Um, my my animation skills were always a little middling, although I think I managed to pull off a few nice effects in Power Reviews. Uh, I'm still quite pleased with those early CG Phantom helmet shots where it took people a few episodes to realize that I didn't have the real helmet yet. Um, but it was always going to be either I wanted to work in some form of entertainment or teaching, and I wasn't doing either at the time, and it was kind of killing me. So that's why I started doing this YouTube channel. And eventually, I did get to teach as well. So now I'm doing both, and I'm quite satisfied with my life professionally. There's always more to improve upon. I'm always looking to be better at teaching, and I'm definitely always looking to be a better um, content creator and writer and producer and actor and what every little thing that I can, I try to improve upon. Um, and I'm very proud of what this channel has done over the last 8 years. Um, it hasn't ever exploded like I would have liked, but we're keeping that slow, steady crawl upwards. Um, it's hard to believe we have over 3,500 subscribers now, and that's amazing. Because I know many people never get there, and the fact that we have had that steady growth without, while we've never exploded, we've also never plateaued, and that's very nice. And I appreciate all of you who have continued to indulge in my gushing about the Power Rangers franchise, and in my attempts to apply it to elements of storytelling and narrative structure and real life issues and real life activism and all the different ways that you can take what you love and apply it to how you interact with the world. Which, in case you needed more clues that I was on the autism spectrum, that probably leans heavily into there. A lot of times for people on the spectrum, it is, you find that they have those intense special interests, and the language of how to interact with the world is the language of that special interest. So I've gotten to explore a lot of interesting things through the lens of Power Rangers, and I look forward to doing more. I look forward to eventually finishing Power Reviews, and then seeing what I come up with next. I had a great time doing Grid Defense. I don't know if I'm going to do more projects like that in the future, or more things like Conversations in Context. I know that I want to do at least one scripted video before the end of this month. I just haven't figured out what yet. Leaning towards a Conversation in Context. Possibly something relating to, recent world events. But I kind of want to see how those events resolve in the next week. So, knocking on all the wood, all the fingers crossed. Let's hope that everything's good. I'm so glad that it's been such a positive experience for everyone, and I really want to try to work to keep creating more positive experiences for all of you. Um, Among my many goals for this year, with regards to Power Reviews, I do want to revise my Patreon and actually provide rewards, because there have been people who have been very generous for many years, and I deeply appreciate that, and I haven't been able to provide them with any of the rewards that I wanted to be able to do outside of just, credits at the end of the episodes. So hopefully I can do something to revise that. Obviously, I have a lot more going on now that I am a father, and obviously, full-time teacher during pandemic makes for things to be complex. But I shout out for my fan Taco Cat. Well, thank you, Taco Cat. But yeah, I want to make sure to do right by those who have contributed to the channel over the years. When it's tough to find the time while also producing content, while also staying up with all my other responsibilities. But I'm looking to do some exciting things with the channel this year, and we had some great collaborations last year. I'm looking forward to seeing what collaborations we have this year, because I've got some things brewing, a few things stirring, and I'm looking forward to being able to reveal them to all of you. But in the meantime, I've got to get back to work on the next episode of Power Reviews. 92 ain't going to put itself together. I've got some great work done on 93, actually. 93, I think I may have everything filmed, but not 92. things happen as a result of opportunities. But have I been doing in-person teaching or distance teaching? Both. It alternates. This past week, I have been doing remote teaching because I wanted to spend more time with RJ. But next week, I will go back to in-person teaching with some of my students being remote, some of them being in person, and then all of us being remote on Fridays. It's been a complicated endeavor. We're slow. I've sort of got the hang of it, but every new change to my schedule means a whole new thing to get a handle on. In this case, it's being a father and trying to be supportive as MJ is taking leave, and I'm going to be heading back off to work. So Sheree, how late are you? We are just wrapping up. I was just about to sign off. I'm sorry, but it is good to see you. It's always a pleasure. And I think it's time to wrap up with our closing 3 non-controversial phrases. The three more phrases that we should all be able to agree are equally non-controversial. Number 1, say it with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool. We got to see the Samurai Clawzord this time around. Oh, I have that up on a shelf, but it is behind my green screen, so I cannot get at it. Maybe next time. So, until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.